All right. So JJ asked a question about setting up the Kimura from guard, and I'm going to show you guys a really cool setup for the Kimura. But I'm also going to just reiterate all the basics of finishing the Kimura. Okay. So Matthew's in my guard. Okay. Now Matthew's in my guard, and we look at what we're looking for to execute a Kimura. Very traditionally, basically, we're taught, teach people hand on the floor is the cue to set up the Kimura, but really what we're looking for is this gap between the elbow and the body. The open elbow is what you're really looking for. It's just a little easier to see this when you're first starting out, but as you get better, that's what you're looking for. This space between the elbow and the rib cage. Okay, so what I'm looking for here is that gap. Once I get that, I'm looking for some type of control of the wrist. I like to teach this thumb and middle finger to the narrowest part of the wrist. So all the way down here at the hand. Okay? This lets me put a little bend in his wrist, which tends to make the whole arm feel a little bit weaker. Okay? If I grab up here, Matthew just feels stronger. Plus, it's a thicker part of his arm, harder to hold on to. So I grab down here at the narrowest part of his arm with my longest finger and my thumb to get the most control. Here, right there, okay? I'm gonna plant one foot, keep the other foot on his back, and I'm gonna sit up over this line right here, okay? I don't wanna be up on his trap or even on his deltoid, okay? I'm trying to control this space right underneath the deltoid between there and the elbow, here to here. Okay, so when I sit up, I'm coming up and over here. Okay, I keep this leg up, my other foot's planted. As I drop, I don't want to drop back where I started here. I want to kind of roll over my hips. I throw this over the arm and under. I'm reaching for my wrist, and then I'm going to roll sideways this way. Now I want to take this foot, plant it on his hips if I can, and pinch down with my knee. When I do that, that helps me get my hips out from underneath Matthew. Now I've got a great angle with my hips for finishing. I want to hug Matthew's elbow to my chest. This is where I see a really big mistake very, very often. People tend to press this arm to finish, and they get finishes, okay? But when they're going with bigger, stronger guys, and you start to give them this gap right here, they extend their arm, they start to get free, lose that control, okay? So I teach people to hold this elbow tight to the chest. How do we do that? We're gonna activate our lat on the inside. It's over here, right? Boom. Pinch that elbow toward our body, right there. That makes his elbow tight to my sternum. I'm gonna keep my other elbow tight to my body, right here, okay? Then to finish this technique, I'm not gonna press, I'm gonna turn my hips, okay? Right. Once again, don't press. See how big of a movement I got out of Matthew when I pressed? But when I hug this tight, that tap came way quicker. Okay, so we're gonna reiterate those details. This time I'm not gonna have Matthew's hand on the floor, but I'm gonna have it on my hips, but I'm gonna see his elbow open up. Okay, his elbow is open, right here. Now I'm gonna grab his wrist. I'm gonna plant my foot on the other side. Take this hand, punch over. As I punch over, I'm gonna tuck my hand underneath and hug my elbow back, pinching his elbow to my chest as I roll out. Pinch my knee down on his back. Grab my own wrist. All right. Keep my elbows tight to my body and turn my core to finish. All right. Don't press. Turn. All right. Those are the basic components of the Kimura. Okay, so now that we have all the basic components of our Kimura down, I'm going to show you guys a nice setup for it. We're going to start by going to our armbar. getting our angle. And when Matthew goes to defend this, all right, right there, my Kimura, hips are out, and finish. I'll show you one more time, then I'll break it down. Okay. All right. So how did I set that up? First thing I did was get that elbow control that we use for our arm bars. Put on the hip, at my angle, all right, to set up my arm bar. Now, Matthew can't just yank his arm straight out. I've got my bite leg keeping his posture broke pretty well. I've got this foot on his hip, right, and it's also behind his elbow, blocking it, and my hand is too. So getting this arm out isn't easy, okay? So he's gonna use his other hand to help. He starts pushing off of my arm, looking to create space. Now, if you'll look right here, you'll see his elbow has came away from his body. Okay? So when Matthew comes in pushing on this, looking to escape, I'm going to roll my hand over, pushing his hand that way. As I do this, I'm going to bump my knee toward my chest. You see how that's bringing his elbow closer to my sternum? I sit up over, grab my own wrist, hug this. So, one more time. I'm setting up my arm bar. Matthew's pressing, looking to get this arm out. I'm going to roll this out. As I roll this out, I'm catching the wrist. I'm breaking that way. You can pull that up. I come up and over his arm, hug his elbow to my chest. All right, hug my elbows to my body. I use this foot right here to push me out. Now I've got my angle, and I turn for the finish. All right, one more time. Control the arm, going for my arm bar here. Now obviously if he does nothing to defend, I'm going straight to my arm bar. If he starts to press on this arm, looking to escape, I'm just going to roll this out, push this here, pull this knee towards your chest as best you can. Once you get it as close as you can, you're going to take the knee back a little bit to create space for this arm. You can't keep this here, your arm can't make it in. Create a little space, shoot this through. Now I've got my Kimura lock right here. I'm going to use this foot and this foot to escape my hips. Here, hug that to my chest, and finish. So give that a try. Ask some questions in the comments if you have any, and let us know how it works. 1, 2, 3.